We have another NHL trade to discuss today, this time between the San Jose Sharks and the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll get into all the details coming up next. So welcome back to Top Shelf Hockey. We have another trade here to discuss today, this time with the Sharks and the Flyers. Now the San Jose Sharks, of course, announced yesterday a big signing, a mega contract for superstar defenseman Erik Karlsson, $92 million over 8 years to stay in San Jose. So of course, it's not a big surprise, and now they're trying to find some more salary cap space to look after some other players. So they've traded defenseman Justin Braun to the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for a second-round pick in this year's NHL draft and a third-round pick in next year's NHL draft. So obviously Braun is a pending free agent. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's 32 years old. Pretty solid defensive defenseman. Doesn't really offer a whole lot in the way of offense, but he can certainly be really tough to play against. Certainly frustrates a lot of offensive players in his own end. So it's certainly solid from that perspective. Now, of course, from the Sharks' perspective here, obviously Braun is an expendable piece at this point. They have Burns, Karlsson, Vlasic eating up a lot of minutes, making a lot of money. They're likely going to hang on to Brendan Dillon, I would think, as well, to be that number 4, number 5 guy. He played a lot with Karlsson when Karlsson was playing some of his best hockey in San Jose this past year. He's also a pending UFA, so I fully suspect that between Braun and Dillon that one would be traded, with Braun likely being the more likely candidate here. So now he's off to the Philadelphia Flyers. So from the Sharks' perspective, they get themselves a couple of draft picks, which is good because they've certainly given up a lot of future assets in some of their trades, and they get to free up some salary cap space to hopefully retain some other players. They've got Joe Pavelski without a contract, Joe Thornton, Timo Meier, and Kevin Labanc need to be re-upped here as well. So certainly lots of action going to be coming out of San Jose. This is only the beginning. I fully suspect Doug Wilson to continue being busy here over the next week or so for sure. Now from the Flyers' perspective, they acquire themselves a pretty solid defensive defenseman. Not a ton of risk involved. It's only 1 year left on his contract, so they can either choose to re-sign him or let him go at that point. They did give up 2 fairly early draft picks, though, to acquire this player. My only concern with the deal from the Flyers' perspective is that they might box out some of their younger players. Now, obviously, like I said before, the Flyers seem to be under some pressure from ownership and the upper management to get into win-now mode and not for the future. They certainly lost their patience with GM Ron Hextall, where he was stockpiling the youth and letting them develop, and then obviously that was leading to more losses and lack of playoff experience. So they've let him go, brought in Chuck Fletcher, who certainly seems to have a mandate to get this team back into the playoffs and have it happen immediately. So of course we already seen them trade Radko Gudas for Matt Niskanen with some retained salary. So they have another defenseman in Niskanen who's pretty solid defensively, a little bit older, and now of course they add Justin Braun. So of course they get a little bit older on the blue line, but more solid defensively. Last year's decor in Philly were not good defensively here, but like I said, my concern is about the younger defenders in Philly maybe not getting the playing time or kind of getting boxed out here. So I guess we'll see if Fletcher makes additional moves. The right side of the defense isn't too much of a logjam. They've obviously got Travis Sanheim, who was one of their better defenders last year, is a right shot D. You got Matt Niskanen, who plays the right side. Justin Braun, who they just acquired, is a right side defender. Then they have Philippe Myers, who made a lot of progress last year, and based on previous interviews and even the last few days with Chuck Fletcher, he seemed to kind of indicate that Myers was kind of expected to be their third pair right defenseman. So now acquiring Braun and some more experience kind of probably changes that. So I personally like Myers as a defenseman. I think they need to get him some more experience. So I do have some concerns that way. The left side certainly does have a bit of a logjam, so I wouldn't be shocked to see more moves here. Of course, we've got Ivan Provorov, who needs a new contract. You've got Shane Gostisbehere, who's been mentioned in trade rumors, and that wouldn't be a shock to see him moved after all the chatter. You've also got Robert Hagg, David Schlemko, and Samuel Morant as well. Wouldn't be complete shock to see them try to move either like Schlemko or Hagg or something to that effect, or possibly if they do move Gostisbehere, could change things here a little bit as well. But they've got some promising young defenders that need some ice time. I just hope with the new head coach, Alain Vigneault, the direction this team seems to be heading, that they don't box out too much of their young players, because I do think they're pretty solid and certainly have earned themselves some more playing time. So let me know who you think wins this trade down in the comment section. Obviously, the Sharks continue to free up some cap space. The Flyers continue to retool their blue line here. Overall, this possibly could be a good deal for both teams, but really for right now, I kind of like the deal better for the Sharks, where they get the cap space and the draft picks, and then the Flyers add another older defensive defender who in some ways will add some value value. I'm just not quite sure that they're going to give their young players enough playing time, so I don't like the deal from that perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy, so subscribe for more content just like this one. There will be plenty more updates here as the NHL breaks news on all these trades and free agency and trade rumors, so stay tuned for plenty more content. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.